It was a wild one on the south side of Chicago last night. The A's showed off some spirit as they rallied for 4 runs in the top of the 9th inning to tie the game. But after a solid showing by both bullpens, Melky Cabrera ended it in the bottom of the 14th inning, and the White Sox took Game 1. Tonight, an old friend Jeff Samardzija takes the hill for the Southsiders. The former Athletic is not having the best year, but the hard thrower is always a tough at-bat. It's Game 2, A's, White Sox, next. Well, after a long night last night, we are back to work at U.S. Cellular Field in Chicago as it is Game 2 of this 4-game series. And Aaron Brooks, the young right-hander, is going to get the baseball. He needs to be good tonight, and we'll tell you why in just a moment. It's the A's and the White Sox coming up on CSN in California. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball, along with Ray Fossing. I'm Glenn Kuiper. Well, an A's reliever took the loss last night, but Ray, that's not really the whole story. The bullpen was terrific. They deserve a lot of credit from last night.
And the bad news also, Sonny Gray just went 3+ innings, but really the good news, like you mentioned, Kipe, the bullpen did a fantastic job. 10 2/3 innings, and these were not just easy innings. Some guys pitched multiple innings. They were supposed to pitch 1 inning, but you look out at what the A's did. I think the biggest thing was this young man right here doing a great job, dull, but also Pomeranz did a great job. One of the best pitches might have been this changeup with the bases loaded. Gets a strikeout. That was Fernando Abad. So a great job by the bullpen. Unfortunately, the A's lost. So that's why you say maybe Aaron Brooks has to pitch well tonight.
Yeah, he has been struggling. His record in the last 4 starts. Look at his ERA. So, listen, he needs to pitch 5, 6, 7 innings tonight because the bullpen has been used a lot.
And his changeup is his best pitch. He needs to have it working for him effectively against a ball club that really has not faced a lot. But tonight he needs to pitch well.
And the A's will face the former Athletic Jeff Samardzija. He was an A for a couple months last year. Decent in the first half, but he has not been good lately.
It's amazing what free agency will do for a pitcher, but he is the shark for a reason because he wants to take the ball every 5th day. He did start out great. The White Sox had a lot of expectations from him, but in the second half it has not been that way, especially some of the long balls. You see the number 26, and there have been some long ones. If you put the ball in the middle of the plate, you're going to have good hitters hit the ball. That's what has happened to him. He does have a good split-finger fastball. Don Cooper, the pitching coach, that look, I think, says it all. But for Jeff Samardzija, he's a very good pitcher. Somebody's going to pay him a lot of money because he will take the ball every 5th day.
All right, so the pitching matchup, Aaron Brooks and Jeff Samardzija in Game 2 of this 4-game series. Up next, we will head back inside the A's pregame live studios, and then after that, we'll come back to U.S. Cellular Field for lineups and first pitch. It's the A's and the White Sox.
CSN California is brought to you by Jack in the Box. For a limited time, try the new Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack with melted garlic herb butter. And by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places.
We are back at U.S. Cellular Field, south side of Chicago, as the White Sox have taken the field. So we're just moments away from first pitch, game 2 of the series. Our game time weather for tonight is presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is open this weekend. Another nice night. 76 degrees, warm and breezy here on the south side. So a long night last night, but everybody's back to work tonight. A's will try to even up this series at a game apiece. And the lineup for the Athletics looks like this: Fold, Semien, Reddick, Canna, Butler, Muncy, Fegley, Sogard, and Smolinski.
Jeff Samardzija, the right-hander, the familiar number 29 on the mound for the White Sox. He made one start against the A's, 17th of May. And in that sweep of the White Sox over the Athletics, he went 8 innings in the game. You see him set it up in a split-finger fastball grip. But the Shark knows how to pitch. Give him the ball. He wants it every 5th day. And bottom line, he doesn't want to come out of a game. So A's will try to get to him, try to get a win against the White Sox.
First pitch, fastball outside. So we are underway from Chicago. 8-7 was the final score last night in 14 innings. And there's a drive down the right field line, fair. Sam Fuld hits the bag at first. He's going to try for 2. Shucks throw to second is offline, and it's a leadoff double for Sam Fuld.
Yep, that's a situation where Samardzija missed with the first pitch fastball, went away, came back with another right down the middle, and Sam Fuld very aggressively swinging. Why not? He did it last night to drive in 2 big runs, help the A's in their comeback to the 9th inning, and you get a left-handed fielder going into the corner the way Shuck had to, go for 2, and he made it easily.
So that'll bring up Marcus Semien. First pitch to Marcus is low, 1-0. First inning blues for Jeff Samardzija. 26 runs allowed, most in the majors. 43 hits allowed, most in the majors. So an interesting note on Samardzija. This one missed. Samardzija looking for his 10th win of the year.
Marcus Semien with the opposite field hitting, and these are the situations now hitting second that Bob Melvin talked about with a hit and run that he did a very good job in Texas, going 1st to 3rd on the hit and run, and now trying to hit the ball to the right side to advance the runner.
That's Rob Drake calling balls and strikes. Shearwater, Rayburn, and West rounded out. Joe West is down at 3rd. He slept good last night, Big Joe. So 1-2 to Marcus Semien, hitting .251 with 11 home runs and 37 runs batted in. Semien was 0 for 6 last night. And a slider right on the outside corner, and Semien is called out on strikes. So 1 away here in the first. Let's take a quick look at the White Sox defense. Cabrera, Eaton, and Shuck in the outfield. Holt, Ramirez, Johnson, Abreu on the infield, and Giovanni Soto will catch tonight. Giovanni Soto came in the game last night, and he ended up scoring the winning run. He was not in the starting lineup.
When he catches Samardzija, he is pretty much his personal catcher, as he has been behind the plate the majority of his starts.
First pitch outside to Josh Reddick.
Soto came up to me around the batting cage. I hardly recognized him. He said, "How much weight did you lose?"
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
Like 25 pounds. Just with the Cubs, when he's rookie of the year, he ballooned up, lost a lot of weight, had a horrible year. Said, "Heck with that," put the weight back on, and lost it again. He had gained it back again when he had some knee issues.
His diet worked.
Yes, it did.
Hope he gives it to me. One and one to Reddick. 1 for 5 last night, and that one hit was a home run. He's hit 3 homers last night. Interesting, he's only had 6 hits last night. They did receive 7 walks.
But 3 home runs, so there's 3 hits. 2 hits in the 9th inning. And that's it. And you play 14, you've over 5 hours. Really, it was the White Sox last night and early this morning that had more opportunities than the A's did.
No question.
Right, Josh Reddick against the lefty, another home run, 4th home run against left-handed pitching this year. And into the A's bullpen. Also reached base on a catcher's interference.
So Reddick on the 3-1 pitch takes the walk.
He laid off the split finger fastball almost as if pitching him carefully. Not afraid to walk him, set up a possible double play. The 9th inning for Tyler Flowers was not a good one. Curveball that bit very hard, and with runner at second, that allowed the catcher's interference as the glove went up. And the bat, Josh Reddick, a 3rd of the season on the catcher's interference, E2. And then the fastball, and evidently Robertson admitted he crossed him up.
Yeah, you could tell.
Yeah. And the pitch that was up, but he said it was all on him. He crossed him up, and yeah, he just didn't react. And it's given a pass ball, but still, when the pitcher admits it's his mistake on a cross up, then it should go the other direction.
0-1 to Canna. Canna, 253. 15 homers and 63 runs batted in.
And his reputation throughout the league is really spreading fast. And talking to some of the White Sox, the coaches, hitting coach Todd Stevenson, the former athletic first base coach, minor league manager, talked about how well he plays and plays the right way. And we have seen that throughout the season. Hitting cleanup tonight.
Canna was 1 for 6 last night with a walk.
Todd Stevenson, the hitting coach. He's coaching the A's organization for 10 years.
Canna takes a strike. Check his swing. 2-2 the count. Butler to follow here in the 1st inning.
Well, the slider is a pretty good pitch for a tall right-hander, and there's a slider, the same one that struck out Marcus Semien.
Fold at second and Reddick at first. And now full count. See if Bob Melvin sends the runners with 1 out. So Samardzija, 17 pitches already here in the 1st inning. And the runners take off, and it's outside. He walked in.
Tried to get him to chase a slider, and he wouldn't bite. And that's the discipline of Mark Canna and how much he's progressed. Don Cooper, the pitching coach, I mean, some of his looks are priceless. He's been around a long time, and he's had some great pitchers, and he's done a great job with the pitchers. But he knows the numbers that we've talked about. 1st inning, how tough they've been for Jeff Samardzija, and just trying to find a way to get through it.
28th season in the Sox organization.
Managed a couple games when Ozzie Guillen departed.
First pitch to Butler, not close. The White Sox as a team a 3.94 ERA. That's 8th in the American League. Just slightly behind the Athletics. The A's are at 3.88 and they're 6th in the league. Butler 251, 11 homers, 54 RBIs. There's a strike, 1-1 to count. Butler was 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts last night. He also walked.
It's a pretty good pitch to hit after the first pitch. Slider missed. There's a fastball right there for him to drive to right center, and couldn't pull the trigger again.
Base is full. Butler bounces it into left center field. The base hit. 1 run scores. 2 runs score. Canada third, and the A's lead 2-0. The ball rolls free in the middle of the diamond, but Abreu picks it up. So Butler with a big hit early, picking up RBIs 55 and 56.
Oh, the old game of inches, and Ramirez comes up with it. We know it's going to be a double play. There's another fastball hit hard in front of the plate and accelerated past the diving Ramirez at shortstop. Samardzija looking back, thinking he's got 2. Instead, it's 2 for the A's with 2 runs scoring on the base hit by Billy Butler. And on to third is Mark Canha, another first and third. So a big hit by Big Billy. You know, I think the A's could take a sigh of relief saying, oh, got something out of a bases loaded 1 out in the first inning.
And the first inning struggles continue for Samardzija. So Muncy steps in. Muncy playing third base tonight. So Laurie out of the lineup. Valencia out of the lineup.
Cap, you remember this on the 17th of May, Max Muncy against Jeff Samardzija, Coliseum. First major league home run just over the Xfinity sign. And Max Muncy got a chance to enjoy the trip around and the silent treatment and all the good things that happen when you hit your first major league home run. He also
it's a good silent treatment.
Fegley sold it, didn't he?
So 2-1 to Muncy. Checked his swing. It's low. 3-1.
I think one of the impressive things about Max Muncy when he first came up, I think it was the Astros, that he went hard into second base to up in. I think it was Altuve. So check swing didn't go. Looked like a pretty good pitch anyway. Called the ball. He's asking if it's 2-2. What did the umpire say? If he called that a ball, it's 3-1.
Called it a ball because they checked with Joe West
on the appeal.
3-1 is hit high and foul just to our left. So now full count. 26 pitches for Samardzija. Still only 1 out. He's given up a couple of hits and he has walked a couple. Muncy pops this one up left field. Cabrera coming in, Canha tagging, and Melky Cabrera has it and he flips it back in and Canha stays. So not quite deep enough by Max Muncy for the second out, and that'll bring up Fegley.
Interesting signal given by Giovanni Soto. It gave 2, which should normally be a curveball, something other than a fastball, but it was a fastball thrown by Samardzija and a good one.
So here's Fegley, the former White Sox. Fegley was 0 for 3 last night. Part of the trade. Jeff Samardzija trade. So 2 guys that were traded for each other, facing each other. Can say that about Simeon as well.
Chris Bassett looks like he might get another start before the end of the season. Spoke highly about him as well.
Good breaking ball there, and it's 0-2.
If you look at the trade, Jeff Samardzija to the White Sox for the players you mentioned, it's a pretty good haul for the Athletics for a pitcher who's going to be a free agent at the end of this year. And Samardzija's pretty much made it known that he would like to stay in Chicago with one of the 2 teams. And for the White Sox, he would be happy here, sign long term.
A line drive off the glove of Olt, and it rolls down the left field line. Canha comes in to score. Butler to third, and Fegley has an RBI double, 3-0.
About a 2-strike hanging curveball, and Fegley all over it.
Well, Fegley gets his 34th RBI.
Look where this pitch stays, right in the middle of the plate. He's lucky he wasn't hit a home run, and Cooper out just off the glove. It slowed it down enough that Big Billy Butler able to get to third base. That helps, so he can score on a base hit. And Fegley crushed it with the 2 strikes.
So Samardzija, first inning Blues, and how about at home this year? A 4.75 ERA, and lately, his last 6 starts, 8.33 ERA. That is really hard to believe.
Yeah.
This is a really good pitcher, but it has not been a good year for Samardzija. He's 1-7 in his last 8 starts. In a stretch where he lost 6 consecutive starts. And you watch him pitch and you just think that just should not happen.
Right.
But it is.
Okay, if he's young enough, and we've seen it in the past. Think of Adrian Beltre, Boston Red Sox for 1 year.
Samardzija can't pick it up. Another run comes in to score. 4-0 the A's lead. Heck, he tried to pick it up with his glove, Ray, which is not easy to do. Sometimes you're better just grabbing it with your bare hand, although it was glove side.
Yeah, he's trying to go there and pop up and throw out Sogard, and when you start looking up, peeking, then all of a sudden you can't pick up the ball. Watch right here. He looks up. As he's looking up, reaching down, same time trying to field the ball. He's thinking all the time trying to get Sogard. And this is panic setting in the first inning, and we've seen his reaction in this first right there, the frustration showing about a first inning, and all the numbers are there. But as I started to say, remember when Adrian Beltre left Seattle, signed a 1-year deal with Red Sox, in a huge contract with the Rangers, but he had a good year. Samardzija turned down a pretty decent contract from the White Sox earlier, and he may end up going as a free agent, maybe say 1 year, let me get my numbers back up to warrant a better contract. Maybe he'll look at this year as being just an aberration, that you can have a good year following. We'll see. But as much as pitching is needed, they may not even look at the record.
He may get an offer he can't refuse.
Yeah.
Who knows? It's interesting, Ray. His career record is 45-60, and you just wonder if will any of that slow down the bidders when it comes time to go after Jeff Samardzija? Probably not.
Didn't happen to Homer Bailey
No.
with the Reds.
Yeah, Homer Bailey, Tommy John guy. Smolinski rips one left field. Cabrera over, and he can't get it. Drops fair. 1-run scores, and Sogard is going to be held, and it is 5-0 A's here in the first. Smolinski right down the line and left.
And another hanger. Another hanging breaking ball, splitter actually, that stayed up, and Smolinski maybe thought he had hit a home run, but there's your splitter looking to get it down, stayed up. And Cabrera felt he just could not get to it. And
so double and an RBI for Smolinski, second and third. And Sam Fold pops it up right behind the pitcher's mound. Ramirez comes in. He's got it side retired. So the A's score 5 times off Samardzija in the first inning. Bottom of the first coming up. Samardzija. And here's the White Sox lineup: Eaton, Ramirez, Abreu, Cabrera, Garcia, Shuck, Holt, Johnson, Soto. And they will face the young right-hander.
But Aaron Brooks, if you ever want run support before you take the mound, he just got it. 5 runs before he does take the mound against the White Sox, looking for his second win. First came against the Tribe in his Oakland A debut, and since then things have not worked out particularly well, especially in Toronto and even in Arizona. But see what he can do tonight with a big lead in the first inning. Change-up is a key pitch for him.
Pitch outside to Adam Eaton, hitting .275 with 13 home runs and 46 runs batted in.
I always think the best thing a team can do, and what you try to do as a pitcher, from the team after being down 5-0, try to just get back on the board, and for Aaron Brooks just to make sure White Sox don't get on the board, because it is just the first inning and Hayes have to add on. Brooks has to shut him down.
Strike on the outside corner, 2-1. Ramirez to follow, and then Abreu. Slapped foul. Eaton last night had a couple of hits. 2 for 6, scored a run. White Sox think so highly of Adam Eaton, they signed him to a 5-year, $23 million extension earlier this season. So he is signed through 2019. There's also a couple of club options, so he could be a White Sox for a while.
Trying to get by on that too, huh?
Yeah, he's going to be just fine. So 5 years, $23 million. Basically just takes him all the way through his arbitration years. Line drive, base hit left field. So Eaton opens up the bottom of the first with a line drive single. Let's check out the A's defense. Smolitsky, Fold, and Reddick in the outfield. Muncy, Simeon, Sogard, Canna in the infield. And Fegley is your catcher. So here's Alexi Ramirez. Ramirez 2 for 6 last night with an RBI run scored. He also walked twice, so he was on base 4 times. First pitch is low. White Sox come in 68-74 on the season. They're 36-36 at home. A's have not beat the White Sox this year. White Sox are 4-0. It's the Athletics, and White Sox are 20-10 against the AL West, and that includes 5-1 against the Houston Astros. So the White Sox have, which you do see happen occasionally, they've played well against the West.
Pitch under Ozzie again, they never did.
Yeah, not played well within their division.
Cap early score, just noticed on the out-of-town scoreboard. Rangers 4-0 over the Astros early.
Still batting, bottom of the first.
Is that it? Wow.
Sniffing first place.
That's right.
Eaton runs, got a good jump. It's a strike. Throw to second base, not in time. So Eaton had a good jump there.
And there's your 3-0 stolen base.
I don't see that a lot.
No, you don't. But you saw also what Aaron Brooks did. He took his time, concentrating on throwing a strike, and as a result of that, see the high leg kick? Look where he is when Fegley gets the ball. Still made it close. Fegley getting the strike call from the home plate umpire and making it much closer than probably Eaton thought it would be.
Good pitch there, 3-2. And that Rangers game, it's Colin McHugh for the Astros and Derek Holland for the Rangers. course, last night the Rangers won 5-3. And it's a half-game lead for the Astros over Texas in the West. So if the Rangers were to win that game, they would be in first place. Some momentum kind of rolling toward the Rangers right now.
Well, the Astros started this 9-game road trip. They lost the first 2 to the A's, won the 3rd game. Same in Anaheim, but lost the first game last night. And for them to go 3-6 on a road trip wouldn't be that good.
They're sitting on a 2-5 trip right now as Ramirez walks. And here's a break.
Wrong guy to come up if you're leading by 5 with 2 runners on base and nobody out. Cabrera last night with a big night. Or Abreu, that is. Cabrera's the on deck circle. Abreu, 2-run home run, a 2-run single, and the A's decided to potentially walk him a few times.
Well, we showed you in the open of our show the A's bullpen last night, 10 1/3 innings. And even with expanded rosters, that's a lot of innings for a bullpen. And the last thing Bob Melvin wants to do is have to go back to the bullpen early tonight. And there's a base hit to right field off the end of the bat. And they're going to wave Eaton. And Reddick's going to throw back to second. Eaton comes in to score. It's 5-1. RBI number 91 for Jose Abreu. He had 4 RBIs last night.
Not off the end of the bat, but they were playing him to pull, and that's his opposite field, and he is strong. Hey, that time it didn't sound like a broken bat, but initially hit it. Sounded like it did, and Eaton with very good speed. I don't know that Reddick saw that he had held up momentarily to see if it was going to get through or not. So Kurt Young, something he didn't want to do after the offense gave him 5 runs in the first inning.
Well, Brooks 2 starts ago against Seattle went 2 1/3. His last start against Houston, he went 4 innings. Look at the bullpens last night. A's went 10 2/3, just 1 earned run. Unfortunately, it was the game-winning run. The White Sox bullpen went 7 innings, and they did a good job.
The difference in pitches.
Yep.
75 fewer pitches, of course, 3 fewer innings. But from the A standpoint, they had runners on base, it seemed like every inning. Kept getting out of the jams. Bullpen doing a great job. Not allowing the White Sox to score until the 14th.
Look back at that box score, Ray. 15 total pitchers used. 5 hours and 9 minutes. There were 17 walks and 35 strikeouts. There were 44 total base runners.
Did you have a calculator?
I did. But the best number of all, how many? I'm going to let you guess, just for fun, not to put you on the spot. How many pitches you think were thrown total in the game?
Well, we just saw 198 from the A's bullpen and 100.
So those were the relievers.
The relievers only. Wow. 400?
Yeah, 495.
So close to 500.
495 pitches last night. Joe West called every single one of them. So he deserves a little credit for that.
Well, he was back there for every one of them.
Yeah, he was.
There's some he called that maybe he should have deferred. As saw Rob Drake in the first inning go down to Big Joe. So what do you think on the check swing? Maybe they discussed that wee hours of this morning, or not.
Left field. Smolinski is going to play it on a hop. Here comes Ramirez. He will score 5-2. The White Sox right back in it. That right there is one of the reasons why Cabrera is a tough out. Yeah. He goes line to line.
Well, and last night, too, when they turned around the bat left-handed against Arnold Leon, that helped him because he struggled from the right side and actually had hit the ground ball with the bases loaded, 1 out. Could have won it earlier, ended up winning it later.
So Cabrera gets his 66th RBI. And now Avisail Garcia steps in. Still nobody out. 3 singles and a walk. slider fouled into the sweet level.
I'm sure before long, Dallaire will show the pitches thrown by Aaron Brooks, and you're going to see a percentage of fastballs and changeups. We're seeing more sliders, it seems, and hangers. And his changeup is the best pitch, and I think just in general, more sliders have been thrown and maybe curveballs than his signature pitch, which is the changeup.
Remember his first 2 starts. And we talked about it. He threw a lot of changeups, but almost every one seemed like it was just perfectly thrown.
Exactly.
Coming out just like the fastball. But we have not seen that from him since those first 2 starts.
And there you see it. The 24 and 59, 17% of the curveball and sliders, yet it seems like 13% on the sliders is closer to the 25% of his changeup.
Swing and a miss. Good sharp breaking ball there. Garcia strikes out.
Is that 5 times?
4 last night.
That's a hard breaking ball, kind of a front door breaking ball that fooled Garcia. That's more of a curveball. But Kai, to your point about the changeups, even the start at Toronto, it seemed like everything was overthrowing the changeup and they were cutting. And that's when he had indicated the baseballs were different. But first 2, he seemed to be okay with everything working in those 2 starts, especially against Cleveland.
So here's J.B. Shuck. Shuck came into the game last night after Trace Thompson hurt his elbow diving for a ball in the 9th inning. So Shuck ended up getting 3 at-bats last night. He had a walk. Missed again, 2-0.
That's a good changeup. It was down. Trace Thompson last night, and Marcus Semien, a good friend of his, and Marcus had played in the minor leagues with him, and Trace had a hand injury, and watched the play develop last night. Marcus thought immediately the reoccurrence of that same type of injury, although it was his elbow.
This was the play. It was the hit that led off the top of the 9th inning.
Well, it's more the elbow. I mean, you can see the elbow kind of hyperextend a little bit, and maybe when it hit the ground, that's what happened. The elbow, you could see the kind of turned and looking at the wrist, but it was actually the elbow that, and he did grab it right below the elbow, and fortunately X-rays showed it okay, or at least nothing seriously wrong. He's day to day.
Pitch is high, and now it's 3-1. On deck is Mike Holt. Abreu, the runner, at second, and Cabrera at first. Shuck takes low and walks it. So the bases are loaded. It's for a young pitcher too, Ray, when had some starts where you've really struggled. It's a little tougher to pitch with confidence. And you need a good first inning to get some confidence.
Well, and especially after you get 5 runs before you take them out. I think every visiting team pitcher likes that, to see runs on the board, and it's be counterproductive and say, all right, they expect me to pitch well because the runs are on the board, and so far tonight it's not been the case for Brooks.
Semien charges, shovels to second for one on to first, and that's a double play. Just what Brooks needed. 6-4-3, side retired. White Sox score a pair, so 5-2 A's at the end of 1. Out today, a non-displaced rib fracture, and he is out for the year. So he was scheduled to start tomorrow. He will not. Cody Martin will pitch in his place. So Jesse Chavez finishes the year with a 7-15 record. So this time of year, you see the injuries mount a little bit, and it sounded to me like Jesse could not pinpoint the time when it happened.
Yeah, that's the strange part. And usually you figure something happened and that you could pinpoint. But I think from Jesse's standpoint, to be able to stay in the rotation, when he made about 26 starts, 21 last year. So he's able to stay in and a little bit better run support early in his starts. Might have been a different story for him and for the ball club.
Driven towards center. Eaton hustles back, and Eaton makes the catch. Simeon, who's hit some balls hard in this series, but nothing to show for it. Last night, in 14 innings, 7 runs on 6 hits. But tonight, in the very first inning, 5 runs and 5 hits. He struck out 16 times last night. They were 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. And don't forget, Ray, they did not have a hit in the final 4 innings.
That's right.
So they came out in the first inning tonight and got 5 of them. So that White Sox bullpen did a good job. Coco was part of that 9th inning rally. And a bases loaded walk. One and 1 the count to Reddick, who walked and scored in the first. Samardzija underhands to first, 2 out.
Samardzija might be happy. 38 pitches in the first inning. Gave up 5 runs, 5 hits. His club scored him 2, and figures my ugly innings out of the way. Now if I keep the pitch count down enough. I always thought when he's with the A's and he showed up and shaking hands, and it's a cool night at the Coliseum, came out with no sleeves on. I said, well, he's accustomed to Chicago weather, so this is probably warm for him. But he never seemed to be the type of pitcher that you count pitches, because he just seemed like he wanted to stay in the game regardless of the pitch count.
Yep.
And I mean, that's from a pitching coach and a manager. That's the kind of pitcher you want. Somebody that take the ball every 5th day and say, it's my game. Let me finish, let me pitch, and I'll figure things out.
Base hit left field. Hit hard by Canna. So Canna with a walk and a single tonight.
I remember also after the A's and Royals got into it a little bit in Kansas City, their only trip back there for the A's, and the ejections and different things. The Royals came here pretty close after that, and they got into it here, and it was Samardzija who was the one who, I think, it was pretty interesting, because I don't think you want to mess around with the Shark.
No, I think there's a pretty good fire burning in there. I'll show you something, Ray. On the Reddick at bat, the second pitch. Remember this. Now watch the location. All right, outside, right? But called a strike. Reddick doesn't agree. But watch the next pitch.
Same pitch. That's right.
So if that's called a ball,
he doesn't swing.
He probably doesn't swing at the 3rd pitch.
Exactly right.
And you see that a lot where
too much.
A hitter will take a pitch. He doesn't think it's a strike. It's called a strike. Okay. But it puts in his head that, well, it's a strike. So I got to swing at it if it's close again. And that was a perfect example with Reddick.
And, you know, it's interesting you bring that up, because with Rob Drake, even pitching of Samardzija in the first and Brooks at the bottom of the first inning, left-handed hitter, some of the pitches outside that looked like they were off the plate were called strikes. So from a hitter standpoint and pitcher, you try to figure out the strike zone of the home plate umpire, and you react accordingly. And I think your point well taken about Reddick swinging at a pitch that clearly looked like it was off the plate.
And that'll tick off a hitter. Because I'm not saying it's a wasted at bat, but it sort of forces you into doing something that you probably didn't want to do. Swing at a pitch that's out off the plate. Pitch number 50 coming up for Samardzija.
to that point, sometimes the one pitch is called a strike, the same pitch the next time is a ball. And then that really confuses everybody.
Sure.
What is the strike zone? Yeah, what is the strike zone? And so tonight, Reddick actually swung at a pitch that probably was not a strike, after one that also was called was not a strike.
But maybe some credit to Samardzija as well.
Sure.
Throw the same pitch.
Yeah.
Butler swings and misses 95 miles an hour. So a hit and a runner left. Bottom of the second coming up. It'll be Johnson, Soto, and Eaton. A's 5, White Sox 2. Use hashtag CSNCA Data Strong Fan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's all brought to you by T-Mobile. U.S. Cellular Field, where the A's leading the White Sox 5-2. It'll be a night game tomorrow and then a day game on Thursday. And then the A's will go back to Texas. Haven't been in Texas in a while.
A few days anyway.
Got to get back. Houston, the Astros will be. Well, the Astros will be glad to be back home. They'll be wrapping up their road trip on Thursday in Arlington, and then they will head home.
Houston came back, scored 3.
Yes, they did.
Colin McHugh's not going to give up a lot, especially if they come back and make it an interesting game.
Lots of talk in the local newspapers about, obviously, about the Cubs and their big week, where they have a 4-game series against the Pittsburgh Pirates, a doubleheader today. Cubs lost the first game of that doubleheader 5-4. They're in Pittsburgh, and then I believe the Cubs play the Cardinals this weekend. So that's a big week of baseball for the Cubbies, who certainly look like they're headed to the postseason.
But the first wild card team hosts the play-in game, I guess you could say. This is the case last year with the Royals and the A's, and that makes a big difference, especially, I guess there's one positive about the 2 wild cards, and that is the best one, or the 4th best record in the league, will host the game.
Cubs are winning the second game of that doubleheader 2-0 in the 6th inning. Sweet Midland Rockhounds hat there by that A's fan. Micah Johnson strikes out. So Aaron Brooks gets his second strikeout. Midland Rockhounds. Double-A affiliate.
High fastball, good fastball from Brooks, one that was not called a strike earlier in the at-bat, but decided to go after it anyway. No contact.
Here's Giovanni Soto. Soto fouls it right side.
Good fastball at 94 from Brooks, which is encouraging. Brett Laurie not playing second base tonight, but did ask him about the ball that was hit in the 14th inning off the bat of Soto, and he said he absolutely did not see it. And he pointed out during the game, as we saw when he pointed his eyes, and he said it was just like a big flash bulb as the ball was thrown to Soto, and all of a sudden he said, I didn't see a thing. And reacted a little bit late, turned out to be a base hit. Soto scored the winning run in the 14th.
Soto started out with the Cubs and the Rangers. Last year, 14 games with the Athletics. That one's belted to center. Sam Fuld hustling back, and Sam Fuld makes the catch.
One former Cub hitting to another former Cub. Sam Fuld originally was with the Cubs, like Soto. And this ball knuckled a little bit. Soto hit it well, and watch Fuld go back, a little basket catch, as that's as much as he could do to get to the ball. Tracked it perfectly, and then a little side basket catch to bring the ball in. A lot of confidence, boy. That's, you played in the outfield and you start running, you have to make sure your head doesn't stop bouncing around. And guys make it look easy, but they work at it.
Sam Fuld is, he's really one of the better outfielders in the American League. And I'm not talking about the spectacular plays, because he makes a lot of those. He's pretty solid.
Yeah, you want to talk about the infielders making the routine plays. Same for the outfielders. And he does track balls very well. He has a very good arm, very accurate. And you're right, he can make some spectacular plays. Super Sam.
Eaton led off the bottom of the first with a base hit. He then stole a base and scored a run. He's with 5 in the top of the first. White Sox with 2 in the bottom of the first. So 3-1 to Eaton. And he bunts it, and it's foul.
It's a strikeout anyway.
Called as foul.
Is that 2-2? That was 3-2. Taking quick. Remember at Oakland, he slipped on the grass as he threw a ball, but he tried to get out and get it quickly enough. But Drake, just looking to the side, saw the ball that when it did bounce up, it was on the foul side. He didn't know, so he continued to run. Fagley likes to throw.
Two is rolled foul, picked up by Darryl Boston. Outfield pretty shallow, especially in left field and center field for Eaton. He does have 13 home runs this year, but he strikes out there, and Aaron Brooks gets a much needed 3-up, 3-down inning, and he gets a couple of strikeouts. 5-2 A's after 2. California is brought to you by Hotel Transylvania 2. It's in theaters September 25th. Beautiful look at downtown Chicago, right along Lakeshore Drive. 5-2 A's lead the White Sox, top of the third inning.
This is a great time to be in Chicago.
Boy, it is. Weather's
Jeff, how's it in wintertime? Been here in the wintertime, and man, you get out, and you speak, and you freeze.
Shuck comes in. Muncy got that one off the end of the bat.
Of course, you grew up in this kind of weather, right?
Oh, yeah. Doesn't mean you're used to it. But I will say this. It is tough to beat fall weather in the Midwest.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right.
Nice during the day, cools off at night. 1-0 to Fegley, who had a double and an RBI in the first. He also scored a run. He's had 5 runs and 5 hits in the very first inning. We gave you that graphic about Samardzija and how he struggles in the first inning. And that's certainly the case in tonight's game, but got the final out in the first and then gave up a 2-out hit in the second. So not surprised, would not be surprised if he settles in. Well, the pitch count is going to get him a little bit. So 3-0 to Fegley.
And he was much different in Oakland when he went 8 innings.
And that one's not close. So we got interesting numbers on Samardzija. This is last year compared to this year. Check that out, right?
Wow. That's a huge difference.
So obviously the fastball way down, but the cutter from 11% last year to 25% this year. Splitter's the same. Slider's pretty close to being the same. So more cutters and less, what are you going to say, regular fastball?
Yeah, 4-seam, 2-seam.
So that's interesting. And you wonder why.
Well, I have heard sometimes there are a lot of cut fastballs will take away from the actual fastball, whether 2 or 4-seam. The grip of the cutter works out good. In fact, very well most times. It seems to be a huge increase there.
So 0-2 to Sogard.
Maybe that's because David Robertson's on the team. He throws nothing but cutters. He has talked to Samardzija about the effectiveness of the cutter. You know, everybody looks at Mariano Rivera as the first ballot Hall of Famer. He's got a report on him, cutter. Any other pitch? No, just a cutter. But he made a huge living throwing nothing but cut fastballs, but I don't know the other pitchers can do it. I mean, he was a 1-inning specialist. What's that devastating pitch?
Sogard, fair. Headed for the right field corner. Fegley digging for third. Ron Washington's waving him home. Fegley rounds third. He's going to score. Sogard with an RBI triple. 6-2 the A's lead. Shuck had a long ways to go to get to that baseball, and that certainly helped Fegley score.
Off-speed pitch and down in the corner for Sogard, and once it happened and got down there, Shuck couldn't get to it. Of course, he was playing way off the line, did not expect him to pull the ball that much. And all the while, the pitch hit hard by Sogard, and a good swing and the 1-out walk.
So 37th triple of the year for the A's, closing in on the Oakland record, 40 in 1968. Smolinski had an RBI double in the first. So bottom of the order doing a lot of damage. Infield in for the White Sox. Smolinski hit a really, well, it was kind of just a high fly ball down the left field line that Cabrera just could not quite get to in the first. Swing and a miss. High hard one at 95 miles an hour.
You know, if you throw a split finger fastball and it doesn't work, and we have seen a few, saw one to Smolinski. This high fastball though couldn't catch up, and Samardzija struck out Billy Butler on a high fastball at the end last inning, so his elevated fastball is working well for him, but the splitter so far is not. Scored again, and no swing.
Sam Full to follow. 2-2 pitch is hit hard foul, and that pitch was up.
Splitter.
And it was the splitter. So a big pitch for him, but he just doesn't have a great feel for it tonight. Tapped foul, went with the fastball. He's got that good, hard, sinking fastball with a lot of velocity. Samardzija just 30 years old. And a 2-2 pitch is popped up right near second base. And Michael Johnson has it, 2 outs.
That was the hanging splitter that fooled Smolinski just enough that he got under. Similar pitch, he hammered down the left field line his first at bat. This is exactly not where Samardzija wanted it, but he got away with it. And Smolinski out on the front foot, hit it straight up.
So now it's up to Full to try to get Sogard home. A run in here in the third. Sam Full batted twice in the first inning. He doubled and scored leading off the game, and then he popped out to short to end the first. A little bit inside, 95 miles an hour again.
In the ninth inning, the A's needed a big hit. They got it with 2 outs, and Sam Fuld was the one that did it. Base hit, scoring a couple of runs. He would steal third, but the A's could not get the big hit to break the tie in the ninth inning, and as a result lost it. That's the time they needed to do it.
3-0. Samardzija had 70 pitches.
Man, when he loses it, he loses it.
Well,
it just takes off.
All over the place. And he made 16 starts for the A's last year, and most of them were pretty darn good. He finished 5-6 with the A's with a 3.14 ERA.
Well, last year as an All-Star, he had losses, but his ERA was spectacularly low. Went to the All-Star game with the National Leagues, but with the American League team.
When it was all said and done for the year, Cubs and A's, he finished 7-13. And 5-6 with the Athletics. 6-player deal. Early July. Strike 3 calls. Sam Fultz called out on strikes. A's get 1 on Sogard's triple. So bottom of the third coming up. It's the A's 6 and the White Sox 2. Well, the most popular way to follow the action of A's baseball is with MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy live look-ins, highlights, replay reviews, scores, statcasts, live radio broadcasts, and more. Get the MLB.com At Bat app now. 6-2, A's lead the White Sox. It's the bottom of the third. So Alexi Ramirez to lead it off. He'll be followed by Abreu and Cabrera. So hitters 2, 3, and 4 for the White Sox. Breaking ball 1-1. Ramirez walked and scored in the first. Rangers still leading the Astros 4-3, bottom of the third. A line shot, full over quickly, makes the catch.
Mentioned briefly last night about the White Sox celebrating the 10th anniversary of their World Championship in 2005, and Jeff Blum working for the Astros. And I thought it was great that he had a pinch hit home run as a member of the White Sox, but he also played for the Astros and now works for the Astros.
Yeah.
But he got to come back and celebrate the 10-year anniversary of the first championship in many, many decades.
The Astros, no, they're not mad about it anymore.
No. They were that night.
I remember that.
Jeff said his family, because it was such a late game, wee hours in the morning, they ended up sitting with all the Astros wives. And they looked up on the monitor and said, "Oh no, your husband just hit a home run against us." But Jeff's a good guy, working with Alan Ashby on the road games.
Yeah. 1-2 to Jose Abreu, RBI single in the first.
I think Jeff said Bill Brown's going to be, or is in Texas, working with Ashby. He just does not travel much. We'll see Bronny in Houston over the weekend. He and Alan Ashby.
Inside, and it hit him. Abreu will be aboard.
That was barely. He got out of the way very quickly, and fastball ran up and in. And you can see the disgust on the face of Brooks. Got him on the left arm, just barely grazed it. Brooks just trying to maybe establish the inside part of the plate, short, and go back away.
15th time Abreu's been hit by a pitch. I think teams like to try to pitch him inside.
Yeah.
He likes that ball out over the plate.
The delay there was, I guess that could be challenged or at least reviewed, because Mike Aldrete went to the phone and there was a delay to see if that was. But I thought everything in front of umpires was not reviewed. Maybe.
There's Cabrera. And that one went off the foot of Melky. Or maybe it wasn't the foot. I'll tell you in a minute. No, that was not the foot. So Melky's going to go for a little walk. He's either getting a lot of sympathy or no sympathy from Stephen Vogt.
Or Billy Burns, actually.
Billy Burns, yeah.
Herm Schneider's going to say, a little smile on the face of Herm.
This is what Melky did last night. A little curveball that just hung a little bit. Close play at the plate. But Soto was called safe, and that was the correct call. And that's how the ball game ended in the bottom of the 14th inning after 5 hours and 9 minutes. A disappointing loss for the Athletics. So 0-2. White Sox have 52 one-run decisions this year and 11 walk-off wins. So the 11 walk-off wins is great, but they're 6 games under 500. Line foul.
You're looking at two clubs really with a lot of one-run games, and I think we all realize how different the A season could have been had they played much better in those one-run losses, even won half of them. Just too many losses.
Swing and a miss. There's the Brooks changeup, and he gets his 4th strikeout.
Right in the middle of the play, that's what you want to do. Throw it in the middle, let it drop down. Looks like a fastball, sinks like a changeup, and a good one. Yeah, that kind of pitch, you don't need much of anything else. And right after him 0-2 and threw it.
So Garcia steps in. Garcia was 1 for 5 with 4 strikeouts last night, and he struck out in his first at bat tonight. Abreu, probably not going anywhere. 2-0 the count. Be careful here. Garcia is not afraid to let it go. And he does, and it's a little cutter, but a good pitch.
Good time to throw it 2-0. See the changeup 0-2. Cutter 2-0. See the tumbling effect of the baseball, just enough off the plate. That's a changeup. See how good it is.
Fegley with a good block. But Brooks threw a cut fastball and a good one on 2-0. See what he does on 3-1. Ran in a little bit on Garcia, so a pretty good pitch by Brooks. 3-2. 2 outs. Abreu will take off.
Proving once again, if you get 3-1, instead of fooling a hitter, you challenge him, and he challenged him and fouled it back, so it gets the back to the count of 3-2. Now he could go fastball, cutter, he could throw the changeup, he could do a lot of different things. The fastball, he challenged him and got a foul ball. That's a slider.
Reach for it, fouls it to the screen. Rays leading the Yankees 4-3 in the 7th inning, and the Blue Jays and the Braves are tied 2-2 in the 8th. Blue Jays with a 3-game lead over the Yankees in the East. Yankees are the #1 wild card.
Sounds like the Blue Jays had a team party at the Falcons football game last night.
I heard that.
Had their off day in Atlanta. I'm surprised David Price was right in the middle of it.
Grounded foul with Abreu on the move. Tigers leading the Twins 3-1 in the 4th inning.
That wasn't it Price and Cabrera and somebody else at the NBA Finals that went to the basketball game and then chartered a flight to Southern California. Verlander, yeah, that's right.
They stayed in Oakland. It was a day game. Yeah. Stayed in Oakland to watch the Warriors that night. Flew down to Southern California after. Swing and a miss. He struck him out, and that is 6 strikeouts in this series for Avisail Garcia. 5 strikeouts for Brooks tonight. 4th inning coming up. 6-2 Athletics lead.
suite to watch the A's take on the Texas Rangers September the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, or the 24th, that is. And everyone in your suite will receive an A's replica pullover. For more information, call 510-638-GO-A's or visit athletics.com/pullover. And that's the 22nd, 23rd, or the 24th against the Rangers. Coliseum, the first three games at the Coliseum when the A's return from Houston. That'll be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And the Giants in Friday, Saturday, Sunday in the final 6 home games of the season.
0 for 2 for Marcus Semien tonight. Strikeout and a fly ball to center field. Semien, Reddick, and Canha. There's a line drive and a base hit. So Semien has a leadoff single. That is 8 hits now for the A's, and right back into the stretch is Samardzija.
Sweeping breaking ball away that he took, and Soto set up inside with a fastball. Watch how quick Marcus Semien is inside. And we talked about his shortstop play, his hitting, and there he is, game 145 for the Athletics, and he has been in most of the games and continues to work hard at both hitting and fielding.
So here's Reddick, walked and scored in the first. Another breezy night in Chicago. I don't know that it's quite as breezy as it was last night.
It was howling at the hotel.
Yes, it was.
It was really windy, and windy throughout the day and nighttime. As we saw the flags blowing from right to left last night. Brett Lawrie, the beneficiary of the strong winds to left field.
Well, it's kind of a nice, comfortable breeze. A month and a half from now, it'll be a cool breeze.
You're being generous by saying cool. How about just freezing cold?
High and foul by Reddick. So 1-2 to Josh, hitting in the third spot tonight. Josh would, as a personal goal, I would think he'd love to get to 20 home runs. He's sitting at 17. Foul straight back. To get to a nice round number.
Yep. Well, 32 in 2012, and a remarkable season for him. And when you become a big home run hitter, that means the opposing teams pitch you a little bit differently. But he has improved with his opposite field hitting, fewer strikeouts.
And that one is ripped into the corner, but foul. No, I do think, even though he did hit 32 home runs, I do think he's a better hitter now than he was.
I agree 100%. I agree with you.
And I think in the long run, he'll put up even bigger numbers than he has this year. Hitting 278.
As we know, if a hitter wants to be a home run hitter, it means he sacrifices average, hitting for an average, and conversely. But it's nice to be able to accept how you're being pitched and try to hit accordingly, and that's what Reddick has done this year.
And that one outside. Well, this year, Ray, Reddick in 132 games has struck out 52 times. That is not a lot.
That's great.
But that 2012 season, he played in 156 games. He struck out 151 times.
And I bet he did not hit as many balls to the opposite field as he has this year. Now, when you try to pull the outside pitch instead of taking the singles or doubles the opposite field, you're going to get a lot more strikeouts or rollovers on ground balls and double plays. He's just improving each year, which is what you want to see from a hitter.
This one is belted right center, and it's hit a ton. And that baby's gone. Home run number 18 for Reddick. 8-2, the A's lead.
As you speak, he gets too closer to that magical round number, and that was a great swing on a 3-2 fastball. He worked him. He fell behind, fouled off some tough pitches, and then got a 3-2 grooved fastball. And Josh Reddick, number 18, and now 71 runs batted in.
And the A's are knocking Samardzija around. 8 runs, 9 hits. A little bit more on the comparison this year to 2012. Look at the batting average, 242. Yeah. And Canna has a line drive, and that's a base hit. So single homer single.
27th home run the Shark has given up this year. We noted 26 to start the game, and this fastball, that you could probably say from a pitcher-catcher standpoint, and even a hitter, that deserved to be hit as far as it was. But that's one thing Reddick has continued to say, that maybe 3-2, he just wanted a quality swing, ends up being a home run. Did not come out of his shoes to hit a home run, just a nice, easy swing. And Coop looking at it, probably figuring, how can you get ahead of a hitter, let him foul off your pitches, and then improve a fastball? And that's what Samardzija did.
Well, there's some boo birds out right now. Samardzija is just getting knocked around. 8 runs on 10 hits in 4+ innings. 27 home runs allowed now for the season.
And then what happens? Start overthrowing, which he just did on the 1-0. Daniel Webb, right-hander, and like Don Cooper and Robin Ventura is going to give Samardzija a chance, but now all of a sudden he's approaching 90 pitches and just in the 4th inning.
So 2-1 to Butler, who had a 2-run single in the first, and he struck out in the second. Swing and a miss. Good pitch there. 2-2. It's the 4th inning, Ray, and everybody in the A's lineup has a hit except Muncy. This one's driven to right center. That's hit well, and it's over Eaton's head, up against the wall. Canna's being waved home. Butler to second, and it is 9-2. And the A's are just bombing Samardzija.
Opposite field, that ball slicing with Billy Butler going to that patented area. And as hard as it is to watch Samardzija struggle, I'd like to see Billy Butler, that is, and look at this ball slice away from Eaton, who has great speed, no chance. Short hop the wall. And the wild pitch putting Canna at second. He was going to score easily.
There'll be a quick meeting at the mound. So 11 hits now for the A's. And they're just, I think they're just waiting to make sure Webb is ready. And that is an ugly outing for Jeff Samardzija. And you know what, Ray? There was not a lot of cheap ones in there either.
No.
These were hitting line drives all over the place. So 3+ innings for Samardzija. He gives up 9 runs and 11 hits. So the A's leading 9-2. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. We'll be back.
Spring training trip right now as home dates for games at Hohokam Park have been announced. Enjoy a first-class experience and get an early glimpse of next year's squad at the A's all-new spring training venue in Mesa, Arizona. For more information, visit athletics.com/spring today. The spring sunshine of Mesa, Arizona.
So Samardzija 3+, 11 hits and 9 runs.
Mark Parent, the bench coach, talking to Jeff Samardzija. And Mark's probably the only guy big enough to go up and say and talk to him. The rest of the guys probably leave him alone. Not a probably good time to talk to him.
So Daniel Webb takes over here in the 4th inning. 1-0 with a 2.67 ERA for Webb. Nobody out. It's gone single homer, single double. And the A's have scored 3 times as Muncy hits. Muncy, a fly ball to the left and a fly ball to the right, and now it's 3-0. The White Sox bullpen last night, 7 innings pitched. And back to work early, and on 4 pitches, Muncy is aboard. So Samardzija walked 3. Webb walks the first hitter he faces. So Fegley will step in. He's had a good ball game so far. Double, a walk, RBI, 2 runs scored for the A's catcher against his former team. So Webb has yet to find the strike zone. Fegley last year played in 11 games with the White Sox. And he hit 3 home runs. He had a big year in AAA for Chicago. Hit 23 home runs. That was last year, so he does have some power, which we've seen this year. And Don Cooper's coming out after 6 straight balls, and this would be a time where I wish maybe Coop had like a little microphone on so we could hear what he has to say.
No, you don't. I've talked to Coop, and that's not something you want to do. But Don's a very good pitching coach. He's been around, like we showed, the 28 years in the organization. And
well, these are one of these games where I mean, it's a pitching coach nightmare.
Yeah.
When a starter who's a high quality starter gets knocked around. Your bullpen threw a lot the night before.
Robin Ventura, and talking to him, first of all, I said, when did you start wearing glasses? About a week ago. And we know what happens when eyes get a little bit bad. But he said, all of a sudden I couldn't read. And then I couldn't see, and so I decided I better start wearing glasses.
He's in the group.
Yep. But he does know, and really, he said the expectations were there, and unfortunately, they have not been anywhere close to where the expectations were in the offseason, the trades, and different things that happened even in spring training. And that's disappointing. And the biggest thing that comes up, as we mentioned last night, when the guys on the north side are having a good year, it makes it even worse on this side.
Sure.
And the Cubs are notoriously, of course, they haven't won since 08 World Series, but usually they're kind of the team in Chicago that's on the downside.
So another walk. So Webb comes in, and the first 2 batters he faces, he walks. Bases loaded, nobody out. So 5 walks now by the White Sox. And here's Sogard. Sogard has an RBI single and an RBI triple. So Sogard not playing as much lately, but making the most of it tonight. There's a strike. 93 miles an hour from Webb. Off speed, it looked like, although it said 93 miles an hour. That was
nasty sinker.
That
You're
was
right.
nasty. Watch this thing go down.
Straight down. That's the Felix Hernandez turbo sinker.
So Butler at third, Muncy at second, Fegley at first.
Was it Brandon Webb had the turbo sinker?
Brandon Webb.
Great sinker, ground ball pitcher.
Career got cut short a little bit. Popped up. Olt, the third baseman, toward the seats. Just enough room to make the catch. So Sogard fouls out with the bases loaded, and now Smolinski will hit. Smolinski an RBI double and a pop out. Popped out with Sogard at third and one out in the third. So he's got another opportunity to get a run home from third with less than 2 outs.
Well, last night Smolinski got the A's on the board early with a home run off Danks, one of 3 hit off John Danks from left center and crushed it. Good job in his first at bat tonight.
Now he's behind in the count 0-2. Overall, 4 home runs for Smolinski with 19 RBIs. Defense straight up. Olt has it. He'll go to first and he throws it away. 1 run scores, 2 runs score, and to third goes Butler. They'll make that Fegley, and Smolinski goes to second, and I'm just not sure what Mike Olt was thinking.
Well, he should have been thinking get the out of first base because it was a broken bat cutting in front of the shortstop, and he thought about second and then said no because I don't think he had a very good grip on the baseball, and he almost dropped it, and when he recovered he threw it away. Watch as he comes across. Watch what happens in his right hand. He starts to throw and the ball drops out of his hand right there. It comes back to his hand, and that's when he made the bad throw. So bad all the way around.
So what it's going to be, raised, it's going to be 2 errors.
Yeah, I just noticed the 2, yeah.
I don't know, did they announce an RBI?
You can't assume a double play, so you have to get
RBI.
1, yeah. So that has to be 1, but
so a very costly error. It's 11-2 as Butler and Muncy both scored on the play. So Fegley now at third, Smolinski at second. So the A's sent 10 men to the plate in the first. They have sent 9 men to the plate here in the fourth. Fold a double and a run score to pop out the short and a strikeout. So his 4th at bat in 4 innings. In the dirt. Hang in there, Coop. Shallow center, Eaton coming in. It'll fall. Fegley will come in to score. Smolinski to third. And it's 12-2. Gives Sam Fuld an RBI single.
Well, Webb came in and walked 2, and that's not very good, even though he got a big out with a Sogard pop up. And then the double air, this ball softly into center field.
So a 6 spot for the A's here in the 4th, and still batting. So Samardzija is done, and he has given up 10 runs tonight. I want to know to Marcus Semien. He singled and scored earlier this inning. So 5 hits, 2 walks, and 2 errors on 1 play. That's what has happened in the top of the 4th. Daniel Webb came in to put the fire out, and that has not happened. So 3-1 now to Marcus Semien. 10th man to bat in the inning. And he takes low, and the bases are loaded.
But Don Cooper might have gone out to talk to Daniel Webb and said, "You're the guy.
You're a man."
Yeah, he used a lot of the bullpen last night. Just Samardzija goes 3+ tonight. And Webb has walked 3 since coming in.
So Reddick, who homered earlier this inning, it was a 2-run shot. So he's sniffing some more RBIs here. First pitch is low. Reddick's home run in the 4th was his 18th of the year. He's got 71 RBIs now. Not close. Right now, Ray, there is nothing going on in the bullpen. Maybe corrected there. Looks like Putnam is now just starting to get going.
It's just the 4th inning, and the A's have done something again tonight they've just done twice previously. The first one last month, second time this month, and it continues.
1-run scores. Here comes Sam Fuld. Cut off. 2-run score. 14-2 the A's lead, as it is an 8-run 4th inning. So Reddick has a 4 RBI night, and we're only in the 4th.
And for a team that's been struggling offensively, you cannot fault the A's for being very happy and want to continue to go. They scored 5 in the 1st, and saw the White Sox scored 2, but have come back. Reddick, a huge inning alone. Just his inning has been great. I'm starting to say 3rd time since last month, twice this month, that the A's have had 5 walks scored in just the 4th inning. And Semien is at 3rd via the walk, so the A's could set a season high for the number of walks scored if he can. And like I said, just the 4th inning.
That's right. Forget 4 RBIs in the game.
That's right.
4 RBIs this
in
inning.
the inning. 2-run home run, 2-run single, and a good shot up the middle by Reddick.
So 1st and 3rd, 1 out for Canna.
Samardzija threw 91. Pitch number 31 coming up from Webb. Just 1 out.
14 runs, 13 hits, and it's the 4th inning. Inside to Canna. Canna has walked, singled, and he has scored a couple of runs. High pop up into the seats. And the White Sox pitchers have thrown 50 pitches in this half inning. That one in the dirt, but Canna swings and misses, so 1-2 now.
Giovanni Soto's getting his work in on blocking pitches. Bobby Thigpen says Putnam's ready. Thigpen might have said I wouldn't have had a chance to save 57 with the way this team's going.
Blocked nicely by Soto. So this half inning is now at 31 minutes. And if that's the case, you want it to be your half inning.
Exactly. I always think this time of the year when the one stat in football is time of possession, this is it.
Yeah.
You want to be possessing the baseball, the bat in your hands, not defensively. Remember, the A's last night only 6 hits total in a 14-inning game.
So Canna with a good take, full count.
13 for the first 4.
And 6 in this inning. And Canna with a shot just foul. So 37 pitches for Daniel Webb. He's retired 1 hitter. And that's a base hit to left field. Simeon trots in to score, and it's 15-2, the A's lead. Robin Ventura has got to come out. So Canna has 3 hits. So Daniel Webb, not a good outing. Putnam coming in. The A's have scored 9 times here in the 4th inning.
Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
That's right, folks. It's the top of the fourth inning, and it's 15-2. The A's lead, and the A's have scored 9 runs here in the fourth inning, and there's still only 1 out. So Zach Putnam comes in. Decent numbers. Lots of strikeouts. 56 strikeouts in 42 and a third inning.
They usually use 3 pitchers in 1 inning. It's because it's situational pitching. Right now, it's trying to get out of an inning. Yeah. Robin Ventura and Don Cooper.
Aaron Brooks, that's the A's starter, is out in the bullpen, and you can do that, and it's probably a pretty good idea.
Well, that rule has changed. One time couldn't, so they have changed that. Changed a lot of rules, and it does give the pitcher a chance.
First pitch to Butler is a strike.
If it was Venditti, he would be out there throwing both hands, both arms.
Yes, he would.
But a little bit more difficult here at the Coliseum. It's easy to just run down left field foul line.
Butler base hit right field, and they'll hold up Reddick. So the hits just keep coming for the A's. And I'll say it again, there's a lot of hard hit balls.
Yeah, you're right. They're not soft for sure. That's an off-speed pitch. Billy Butler staying back. Butler, a big night. He has a couple of doubles, a couple of RBI doubles, and a single to right field.
So 8 hits now in the inning. Yeah. And here's Max Muncy, who will try to join the hit parade. He's the only A's hitter that does not have a hit. The Astros and the Rangers are tied 5-5 in the bottom of the fourth, so they've been going back and forth the last couple innings. Grounded towards short. Ramirez has it to second for 1, back to first. Not in time. Reddick comes in to score, and it's 16-2. So close play at first, but Muncy hustling.
Well, if you don't have a hit, you want to hustle, make sure it's not going to be a double play to end the inning, and he did hustle down the line. It was called safe, and looked like the correct call all the way around as he hit the bag in the front as Abreu stretched.
That's a good A's fan right there. So 10 runs for the A's here in the fourth inning. Figley had a good rip there, fouls it back. Franchise record is 13 runs in an inning. Figley is the 15th hitter in this inning. Now he's behind in the count 0-2.
No batting practice for the A's tonight. It was a casual day after playing over 5 hours last night. Saw more guys on the second bus today than I've seen all year.
And Putnam strikes out Figley, and that will do it. But the A's score 10 times on 8 hits, and they lead 16-2. Brooks coming in out of the bullpen.
Friday night through the 27th of Sunday. Come out and support the green and gold as the A's close out this year's home slate. Get your tickets now online at athletics.com/tickets or by calling 510-638-GO-A's.
So 16-2, the A's lead the White Sox. It is not a misprint. So Aaron Brooks, who went down to the bullpen to throw a little bit.
And he was jumping for joy as he went down there with 14-run differential.
So he will face Shuck, Olt, and Johnson here in the bottom of the fourth. High pop-up foul. We mentioned the Cubs today. Well, they won game 2 of that doubleheader behind John Lester, so the Cubs and the Pirates split the doubleheader in Pittsburgh. These two teams, the two wild card teams right now in the National League, they'll play 2 more games in that series. Shuck up the middle and into center field for a base hit. So that's hit number 4 for the White Sox.
Hanging breaking ball, so staying with his normal game as Shuck got the hanger. And that's an important thing for Aaron Brooks. Pitch the normal game, keep using the good changeup.
So here's Olt. First pitch to Olt, swings through it. Olt hit into a 6-4-3 double play to end the first inning. And Olt off the end of the bat, and he's got a base hit. So back-to-back singles to open up the bottom of the fourth for Chicago.
Into the bat after a big swing by Olt. First pitch fastball. This one off the end of the bat. And he will take it. And Aaron Brooks, who after getting 5 runs in the first inning, gave up 2. Ended up getting a big double play. The last batter, Olt, who had the bases loaded. Could have been a even better inning for the White Sox.
So Micah Johnson. Micah Johnson struck out in the second inning. So they're going to the 5th in Arlington with the Astros and the Rangers tied 5-5. So that's got the look of one of those possible wild ones down in Arlington. It was Holland and McHugh who started that game. A little bit outside from Brooks. So Shuck and Olt lead off the bottom of the fourth with singles. Could be playable. Near the seats and just into the seats. Angels and the Mariners just getting underway. Tropiano and Hernandez, the pitching matchup in Seattle. Hernandez going for his 18th win of the year. Mariners beat the Angels last night 10-1. Inside corner, strike 3 called, then a good pitch by Brooks. He gets his 6th strikeout. How about this line, Ray?
Ugly.
3+ innings for Samardzija, 11 hits, 10 runs, all earned. 3 walks and 3 strikeouts.
Last 49 2/3 innings, he's allowed over a run per inning. Hard to believe.
That is hard to believe. High in the air, right center. Fold is under it. Shuck tags, and Shuck will get to third. You know, Ray, there's really no way to tell if what has happened to Samardzija the last couple months would affect his free agency and how teams look at him. He certainly has a pretty good track record.
And I think that's probably what's going to help him get a contract that he's looking for. And every club is always looking for pitching, and you know, and they're willing to take a chance. And who knows what will happen? And if he does not get a good offer for a multi-year deal, he might, which, as I mentioned, some guys have done it. Just decide, give me a 1-year deal, 1-year deal, and see what it can do.
Yeah, he's still going to get paid handsomely. Up the middle, into center field, the hit. Shuck comes in to score. Eaton knocks in a run to make it 16-3. Just a bouncer right up the middle. So a couple hits tonight for Adam Eaton.
Hit it on the ground. That's what you want to see from your leadoff hitter. He has speed. Pitch was up a little bit, and instead of trying to get under it and drive it, even though he does have double figures in home runs, get a hit on top, take advantage of the ground and the speed, and an RBI.
So here's Alexi Ramirez, who has walked and scored and lined out. He rips one left field. Reaching up and grabbing it is Smolinski. Side retired. A run on 3 hits for the White Sox, so we're going to the 5th. He's 16, White Sox 3. Every single night, and the home of the official post-game show of the team. It's Sunday to Sunday. The home of authentic Raiders fans is CSN. 16-3 A's over the White Sox, and it's the top of the 5th inning. 15 hits in 4 innings for the A's. In the 4th inning alone, 10 runs and 8 hits. So you want to pad your stats, make sure you're in the lineup tonight.
That's right. And take every at-bat seriously. Because these days don't come off around that often or often enough.
Zach Putnam is going to try to give the White Sox some innings, something Daniel Webb could not do. Daniel Webb, his line, a third of an inning. 3 hits, 3 walks, 6 runs, 4 earned runs. Sogard bounces it right back to Putnam, who grabs it. Sogard is retired. In that American League East, the Atlanta Braves beat the Blue Jays tonight. They scored a run in the bottom of the 9th inning. So Braves, not having a very good year at all, but beat the Blue Jays in Atlanta. So a chance for the Yankees, but the Yankees are losing 6-3 after 8 innings to the Tampa Bay Rays in Florida. So the Yankees will need a big comeback or they will miss an opportunity to pick up a game. That lead is 2.5 now for the Blue Jays over the Yankees, and that includes Toronto's loss tonight. One and one to Smolinski.
We are definitely seeing a different Yankee team as far as some of the key players who are injured, like Mark Teixeira, but a lot of the youngsters getting a chance. And just think of the Yankees in the past, and does not seem to be the type of Yankees that we have seen that have been just so overpowering. Still very good, though,
yeah,
but a little bit different.
So do you think maybe a slight change in philosophy with the Yankees?
I definitely think
hold on to your players,
right,
or hold on to your good young prospects.
I think their ultimate goal is to get under $200 million with a payroll. Stop paying luxury tax.
Yeah, can't blame them for that. But they got a young pitcher, Severino, who a lot of teams asked for in trades, and they held on to him, and now he's doing very well in the big leagues.
Yeah, they had 4 at the trading line deadline. Brian Cashman said, "No way, not going to trade them," and give him a lot of credit. But think about the revenue sharing is part of it, luxury tax, and you hit the threshold. It's a certain percentage, but each time you go over it the following years, it adds a higher percentage. And the Yankees seem like they're every year, which I read one report where they paid out more in revenue sharing and luxury tax than most clubs pay in a salary per year. So they paid a lot of money, and I think they're trying to cut back on that.
Yeah, I think sometimes people get a little bit confused with revenue sharing and luxury tax. It's really 2 completely different things.
Exactly.
The luxury tax is a penalty if you go over a certain,
I think it's 180
number. Yeah.
It's 180 million, and there are teams that are adamant about not even coming close to it, or if they do, they will make sure they back off so they don't hit it. And I think it's more of, if you think of it, it's a percentage over that threshold, which is I think 180. So don't think about that. But then each time you're adding to
it's the double penalty you get if you
exactly double, triple, quadruple, whatever. Every year it adds. And the late George Steinbrenner was there. I don't think he really cared about it, but I think the successors and different philosophy. They still have kind of that money-making machine back in New York.
Putnam strikes out Sanford, and that is a 3-up, 3-down inning for the White Sox. Bottom of the 5th coming up, 16-3 A's lead. Remember this?
Absolutely.
June 10th, 2011, in Bob Melvin's opening series. This was actually, I believe, the second game of that series. Second game he became the manager of the Athletics, and it was a huge comeback. And the A's ended up winning the game 7-5, scored a bunch of runs, and 4-run rally in the ninth inning. And that was Bob's first win as an Athletic. He took over the night before, and the A's lost.
Yeah.
And that was it was such a strange 24 hours for everybody involved.
Right.
Because it really started. The A's, I believe, were swept in Baltimore. And we just had the absolute worst plane flight ever.
I think it landed in Springfield and had to wait early in the morning and got on the Chicago rush hour traffic, and
it was very strange.
Yeah, there was a 10-game losing streak, and that game, the second game, of course, flying in here, and Bob Guerin, who's now the bench coach for the Mets, we knew something was strange because he was watching video games coming from Baltimore to Chicago, or a video, not games, but video, and coaches were preparing, so I guess everything had been put in place because Bob Melvin showed up, Billy Beane showed up, made the change, made the announcement. But that inning, the A's scoring 4 runs in the ninth inning. I think it was 5-3. They ended up winning 7-5. It started with a walk, and Matsui got a base hit after Willingham went to second on difference, and but a 4-run. Really, that's what was similar to last night. A's scored 4 in the ninth, but last night they lost on June the 10th in 2011. And you can see the bench that night. A lot of coaches, none of them here. And as Bob Melvin said, we're all being evaluated right now. And as it turned out, he's here and has had success ever since then.
Melky Cabrera hits after the Abreu single. But my favorite part of that, and maybe not Bob's favorite part, but it was so interesting to me, is that he told us a story later that the first night when he took over, when he got here, went to the manager's office, they had a press conference, but he said, I literally had to, and that one's hit high in the air to right field. And Cabrera has hit one out into the A's bullpen, and it's 16-5. Melky Cabrera has had a big series. He launches his 10th home run into the bullpen.
As I mentioned earlier, you have to continue to pitch your game even with a huge lead, and because the 5th inning critical to qualify for the win, and that pitch was a no-doubter off the bat of Cabrera. Remember last night he got the game winner with a base hit, hitting from the left side. So 2 RBIs, make it 3 tonight after that game winner last night in the 14th.
So here's Garcia. So 3 RBIs tonight for Cabrera, and he's got 68 now on the year.
And you were saying about Bob Melvin in his debut?
I mean, he literally had to look at the back of the guys' jerseys to see who it was as they walked out for the game.
That's right.
At 6:50 guys coming out, putting their bats in the bat rack with their jerseys on, and he had to look at the back of their jerseys to see who they were. I mean, he knew some of the guys, but I mean, think about that. That's difficult. And now, he's got a 3-year contract.
Yes, he does. Very deserving, and wearing very proudly that night. It's Billy Beane, for the first time in his job as a general manager, it actually made a managerial change midseason, and that was in that year 2011, and extended him, gave Bob the contract at the end of the season. And
Chuck is retired. 2 outs here in the 5th inning.
I was talking to Greg Schulte, the radio voice of the Diamondbacks, whenever we were in Phoenix, and he said at the time Bob Melvin was working with him, and he said he gets a call from Bob Melvin. He said, Greg, I'm really sorry, I apologize, but I've got to go to Chicago because I'm going to be named manager of the. And so he said, and you're apologizing? Get out of here, go. And so he said, so he still owes me a game or two because Bob Melvin was working with the Diamondbacks, but I don't think Bob's going to be going back on TV or radio anytime soon.
I don't think so.
Right now, trying to get through 9 innings and get a win. First win against the White Sox this year. They're 0 in their last 6 games against Chicago. The A's are.
87 pitches for Aaron Brooks. Giving up 8 hits and 5 runs. Olta's hit into a double play, and he has singled. And there's a strike. Olta's base hit was in the 4th inning. Sharp breaking ball. Still surprising to me that a manager the caliber of Bob Melvin, and we're not just saying that after 3 years with the A's, but fairly well respected before.
Absolutely.
And he was available.
Yeah.
That may be the most surprising thing of all.
Well, I think the A's are very fortunate, and I know Billy Beane talked glowingly about him when he announced the extension to Bob Melvin and how much he appreciated the work of Bob Melvin and how they have worked together very well. Success of the A's, although maybe not this year, but we have seen it in the past, expect it in the future.
Cabrera with a 2-run homer, so we're on to the 6th. 16-5, the A's lead the White Sox. Looking for the best coverage of Oakland A's baseball? Log on to csncalifornia.com as our insider Joe Stiglitz provides wire-to-wire reporting for this A's 2015 season. He's got breaking news, video, special features, and more. It's only on csncalifornia.com. There's the water tower.
That's it.
Kind of a landmark here in downtown Chicago, right next to our hotel.
Right on Michigan Avenue.
Right on Michigan. The Miracle Mile. Shop till you drop.
Is that what you've been doing?
No, not too bad. Although it's a nice walk, believe it or not, in the wintertime around Christmas.
Oh,
see that.
I really like Madison Avenue, Fifth
Yeah.
Avenue in New York. You got Michigan Avenue in Chicago.
Bundle up a little bit.
A lot.
New pitcher is Nate Jones. We saw Nate Jones last night.
But Putnam might be the hero of the night for the White Sox pitching staff. Hitting in 2/3, just 1 hit. Didn't give up a run.
That one's hit high in the air to right field, and it's hit well. Shuck going back, and that baby is gone. Marcus Semien to right center, and he's got a home run, and the A's have their 17th run of the game.
Well, that's got to make him feel great coming back to Chicago, team that traded him, and not so great last night, but tonight a big night, including that opposite field home run.
So home run number 12, and the first one the opposite way.
And for Marcus, his first since the 25th of August. And probably the best one, and Bob Melvin talked about it, and we'd mentioned it, the hit and run in Texas. With the second baseman covering, and he went opposite field on the hit and run. And the more he hits the opposite field, and that's his first home run to right field, he's going to have an unbelievable run.
Most runs scored in the game this year happens tonight, 17. Still time to add on to that.
And a high fastball, and Marcus Semien just put the swing. And yeah, remember, every day he's out here 1 to 2 o'clock working on his defense at shortstop. And he's very accommodating for interview requests. And puts the uniform on to play the game.
I kind of like the fact that Marcus Semien, game number 145, he does not look tired to me.
He does not.
I mean, you know what? You can tell when a player maybe starting to wear down a little bit. I've noticed that with him, and he has played pretty much every day. This is, again, game number 145 for the team. For Marcus, game number 140.
When he's had a day off, it's usually because the A's skipper Bob Melvin said you're taking the day off.
Yep.
And
but he has not said that a whole lot.
No, he's not.
There's an art to playing in September the first time, right?
That's right. Well, and I asked him, I had him on his radio in a pregame today, and I asked him about the winter, and he said it's a good time to kind of rest the body, but he said also to mentally reflect on everything that's happened and think about the times and beginning of the season, how much he's progressed, which he has, and a very, very difficult position, and he's handled extremely well. And he knows that the error number has decreased from the beginning of the season. He appreciates the work Ron Washington and, of course, Mike Gallego prior to Wash coming here. And just a nice young man with a lot of talent. Probably going to watch some Warriors basketball this offseason.
I bet he does.
Yeah. Bay Area product. He and Mark Canna.
Well, he could. Last year, he probably could walk through the arena and nobody would notice him, but they'll know who he is now.
That's right.
Big night for Mark Canna. 3 singles, a walk, 2 runs scored, and an RBI. Funny, I was talking to just briefly Brett Laurie in the lobby as we were getting on the bus. Just happened to get on the conversation about the expanded rosters and, you know, games like last night where a lot of different pitchers are used. And he said, every guy the White Sox brought in was throwing 95 miles an hour.
That's right. They were.
And some of them were guys that you had not faced before. He said that's difficult.
Yeah.
A lot more. You know, managers can do the matchup thing a lot more. All of a sudden, you're seeing guys that just don't have much of a book on them.
And, you know, again, that's where Adam Roden puts so much time in, and between having the videos and putting together the scouting report so that when the guys know, and you see Darren Bush, these relievers have come in, guys have gone to him. He's told them what they throw, but basically that's Adam putting it all together, finding various sources to get information on pitchers that may not know. And that's what's difficult about September. And I don't think we're the only ones who've talked about expanded rosters. And I think the Astros are already thinking about the final weekend, which is going to be in Arizona. Expanded roster, plus a National League park. And trying to do something special in the Western Division, assuming that's going to mean something for them.
In the dirt, blocked nicely by Soto.
Soto very good going opposite direction to the right and getting his body in front of it, using the chest protector to block the ball.
Billy Butler, he's had a big game. 3 for 4, 2 singles, a double, 3 RBIs, and 2 runs scored. Two pitch. That one's hit high and deep to right center, but it's going to stay in the ballpark as Eaton gets back there. And he's got it for the second out. Well, I think you made a good point, and we've chatted about possible changes in baseball, and the collective bargaining agreement ends after next year. There'll be hopefully a brand new one, and
without any interruption.
Could be an agreement that has some changes in it, and maybe that's part of it. What about the DH? What about the DH in interleague games? I think these are all things that are going to be heavily talked about, and maybe some changes. Who knows?
Correct me if I'm wrong. When the Astros came in the American League and made it 15-15, the current bargaining agreement was still in existence. So if that's the case, it had to be agreed upon by both the players and the owners. And if that is the case, or was the case, which obviously it came to fruition, that come 16, then it may surface, may come up at that point. And maybe the September call-ups, a lot of those things. And I think the more input they get from players and the owners' representatives going into the collective bargaining agreement, then those things will be negotiated.
And they may be talking about them already.
Absolutely. Well, we hope they are, because usually in the past there's not been any interruption of play, and that's been the case. It's because they have started talking early, which I'm sure they are.
Muncy strikes out. A's get a home run from Marcus Semien, his 12th of the year. So middle of the 6th from Chicago. A's 17 in the White Sox spot.
Wild. How about a leadoff double by Sam Fuld, and then it all started. Billy Butler with the ball up the middle. 2 runs would score on that single. Josh Reddick, who had a big night already. Josh Feckley. This is all with 2 outs now. Double off the glove of Oat at third base, and then this ball trickled. Samardzija could not make the play, And another run scored. And then Smolinski, a hanging split finger fastball, double down the line. The A's would end up scoring 5 runs in the first inning. 10 batters would face against Jeff Samardzija. A tough inning for him. Good one for the Athletics. And you can find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. Mobilizing your world. How about that?
Some Aaron Brooks fans, and he's back out there for the bottom of the 6th inning. 92 pitches. He'll face Johnson, Soto, and Eaton. Robert Zepp, well represented in Chi-Town. Go get him, kid. He's got a pretty good chance to get a win tonight.
Going out on a limb, aren't you, partner?
Yeah. Bottom of the 6th in Arlington, still 5-5. Astros Rangers. Remember, if the Rangers were to win that game, they would take over first place in the AL West. I don't have the exact number, Ray, but the Astros have been in first place for a long time.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal. Slowly hit. Muncy throws, and a nice play by Max Muncy.
Soto a little slow getting out of the batter's box, but Max Muncy playing first base and tonight playing third base, which he played both in spring training, and as a result he's here. But slow hit ball, you'll find at times guys will try to barehand the ball. It's important to know the hitter, kind of speed he has. Can't see him getting out of the box slowly, but Max Muncy used his glove, used it great, and got the out with a strong throw.
Top of the order, and Eaton had a couple of hits tonight. Driven in a run, scored a run, and stole the base. Inside corner, 0-2. So Brooks trying to finish strong. He's retired 5 in a row since that Melky Cabrera home run. Fegley flips the mask, side retired. So a 6-pitch inning may get him another inning. Who knows? But nice job by Aaron Brooks. And we're on to the 7th from Chicago. All A's tonight.
And you get a chance to get it soon. Commemorate the A's 2015 season with your own team photo presented by YP.com. Tuesday, September the 22nd. That's coming up next week. At the A's versus the Rangers game, 10,000 fans will go home with a 2015 team photo. Perfect souvenir for collecting autographs from your favorite A's players. For information and tickets right now, head to athletics.com/tickets for that beautiful team photo.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change tune-up and repair experts. Matt Albers steps in, and he's greeted with Well, what all the White Sox pitchers have been greeted with tonight, a base hit. So Fegley gets his second hit. He's been on base 4 times. So Matt Albers pitched last night. Good numbers, 2-0, 1.38 ERA. He's been around quite a bit, Matt Albers. There's Sogard. Sogard 2 for 4. Looking at the stops for Matt Albers. Started in Houston. He's been with the Astros, the Orioles, the Red Sox, the Diamondbacks, the Indians, the Astros again, and now the White Sox. A very nice play, spins, fires to second, out there, back to first. Got it.
That was impressive.
Close play at first. Nice play by Jose Abreu, but he may have been safe. He looked safe from the naked eye up here.
Well, Abreu started to go to first and then decided to spin, throw to second. Ramirez back to him, but in fact Sogard was across the bag. We shall see. Bang, bang. Probably could be overturned. You got a 12-run lead. Maybe 3 you don't need it. Probably would not have been overturned anyway. They may not even be paying attention to this game in New York. Let's say this game's over. But you never know. It's not over till it's over. Old Yogi.
Smolinski has a couple of RBIs. Quick 0-2. There's our good fan with his Midland Rockhounds hat on. Although he had a little bit more of a game face earlier in the night, and now, if anybody messes with him, he's going to say, "Just look at the scoreboard." One-two pitch, tapped slowly. Ramirez backhand, throws across his body, and he got it. And that was a terrific play by Alexi Ramirez. Wow. So 6-3 on the putout. 7th inning stretch coming up. 17-5 A's lead.
Of the game, tweet your strongest fan photo to @CSNCAD. Make it CSNCA Data Strong Fan. And you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Tonight's fan photo is from Eddie Aranjo, Nathan, Brianna, Vanessa from Santa Clara. If we pronounce that name correctly, but
You want me to read that tomorrow night?
Why don't you do that tomorrow night? Yeah, that's just thrown right at me.
Ramirez has homered deep into the seats and left. 17-6. So Alexi Ramirez, a couple of nice plays in the top of the seventh on the defensive end. He homers here in the bottom of the seventh. So that is home run number 10 for the White Sox shortstop.
Well, 6-pitch last inning and an elevated fastball this inning to start. Ramirez knew it, and as well he should, as the sound, and we all knew it. Yes, Hawk Harrelson's call is on tape right now, that when that happens, put it on the board.
First pitch to Abreu. He had a big rip, fouls it back. A couple of home runs now for the White Sox. They hit 2 last night as well. There's Hawk.
Big guy.
31 seasons.
The first free agent in Major League Baseball, 1967. Charlie Finney's Kansas City Athletics said, "You go."
Yeah, what happened there? Something weird happened, right? They weren't getting along about
Yeah,
something.
He ended up going to Boston. He was saying he was making chump change with Kansas City. Went to Boston and made over 6 figures. So pretty good free agent status for the Hawk. And
you guys were teammates where?
In Cleveland. He was traded to the Cleveland Indians with, for Tony Horton. Came over in '69. I threw out my arm, throwing batting practice to him.
Thanks a lot, Hawk.
Yeah. Put me on the disabled list. They throw BP to Hawk.
There's a base hit. And Jose Abreu's got 3 hits tonight. So that's 10 hits now off Aaron Brooks.
And Bob Melvin was trying to get Aaron through 7 innings. I don't think it's going to work. Hanging breaking ball, and it looks like Bob's going to the mound. Slow visit to make a call. We shall see. And he is.
So Brooks ends up going 6+ innings tonight. And he leaves with a healthy lead. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. It's your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts.
Is brought to you by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. And by Xfinity, home of the most live sports.
So bottom of the 7th, A's with a 17-6 lead. Aaron Brooks out. Daniel Coulombe comes in. So Brooks had the big lead. Ends up giving up 10 hits and 6 runs. on 102 pitches. So here's Coulomb in his 7th appearance in the big leagues this year as he faces Melky Cabrera. After Cabrera to be Luisel Garcia.
Second for the Athletics since being acquired. The A's were in Texas. Got an appearance there.
So first pitch strike to Cabrera. So Gordon Beckham is the pinch runner at first base for Jose Abreu.
It's like Fegley, like a gunfight. Let the ball drop in front of him, looked up at Beckham and said, go ahead and try.
Yeah.
Go ahead and try, and then I'll throw you out. You're down as much as the White Sox are. You don't want to take a chance. Sticky fastball for the left-hander.
One-two pitch, hard slider, and Cabrera lays off. Cabrera has a single, a homer, and 3 RBIs tonight. He had 4 hits in the game-winning RBI last night. And that's a ball.
Well, this is what he's done tonight, and it did not take long to leave. Reddick jumped the fence, no chance though. It was into the seating area.
Could be 2 out at second. Sogard comes across the bag, and it is a double play. 6-4-3, and just like that, 2 outs.
It's amazing watching Eric Sogard. He is so smooth around the bag, and nice feed from Marcus Semien. But watch Sogard come across the bag, get out of the way of the runner coming down, times his catch perfectly as he hit the bag, cleared himself, so Beckham had no chance and completed the double play. And he is smooth around second. He's played some short, and his defense has been spectacular all season.
Garcia chased the ball 0-1. Tigers leading the Twins 4-3. Top of the 8th inning in Minnesota. That would be a good game for the Twins to win, with the Yankees, one of the wild card teams, losing. Angels leading the Mariners 3-1 in the 3rd.
They have to win every game.
Well, yeah.
I mean, that's the point. I mean, for them just to continue to play well, but they want to win every game anyway, but they almost need to.
And the Angels 4.5 out in the division, 4 out in the wild card. So you're right. It's almost like at this point, when you're those numbers back, if you have a 2 or 3 game losing streak, that almost does it for you. Line drive, base hit. So Garcia gets his first hit tonight.
And the A's will go to Anaheim at Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off for the A's, but the Angels will go to Texas to finish out the season. 4 games against the Rangers in Arlington. And the A's go up to Seattle, and the Astros will go into Arizona to play the Diamondbacks the final 3. So a lot of attention that final week.
So the Angels, I'm sure, are just hoping, hey, make that last week mean something.
That's right.
Make our 4 games in Texas mean something.
Yeah. And the A's will play all 3. Had 3 against the Astros this weekend. Go home to play 3 against the Rangers, and then down to Anaheim for 3. So 9 games remaining for the Athletics. Very meaningful against 3 teams in the division.
High fly ball right field. Reddick near the wall. Now he's got room and he makes the catch. Home run by Alexi Ramirez, and it's another run for the White Sox. 17-6 A's lead after 7. Hey, Know It All with Sportsnet Center. It's brought to you by Hyundai. It's tonight at 10:30 on our sister station, Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. Tom Sula talks about his first win as the head coach of the 49ers, and the Warriors are making news on their coaching staff. Best highlights from all around Major League Baseball. Met Free, Dave Feldman will host. Beautiful look at one of the many museums here in Chicago. I mean, they got a bunch of them. And they're all pretty good. We got a new pitcher, and it's not a pitcher. It's Lurie Garcia, who's a middle infielder.
Soto said, wait a minute, let me give you a sign at least.
He's just rocking and firing. So he's pitched before, second time. He did it last year against the Red Sox, gave up a couple of earned runs. So Lurie Garcia.
Good sinker.
Yep.
How come they're not putting the velocity up on our screen there? Well, you know.
Sometimes.
There we go. 86 mile an hour is pretty good.
So full is out. This isn't the first time it's happened for the White Sox this year. Adam LaRoche did it on July 31st.
It's like Ike Davis. Adam LaRoche's dad, David LaRoche, was a pitcher.
That's right. So somewhere along the line, Adam LaRoche pitched. I guarantee it. Looked pretty good.
High heater, elevated, change the eyesight.
So that takes a strike.
You know, this is something that I thought would never occur in September with the expanded rosters.
Good call.
That, I mean, I was thinking tonight that this might be a game under normal circumstances that you might see a position player, but not in September.
Beckham comes in at third, and then Olt slides over to first. Jose Abreu is out.
Probably has in his contract that anytime a position player pitches, I don't have to play.
Tyler Leidendorf is hitting here for Simeon. I said Simeon. I stand corrected. 1-2 pitch, like a little breaking ball. Two and two to Leidendorf. Foul territory. A long run for Beckham, a long run for Ramirez, and neither of them can get it. Pridey has come out into the on-deck circle, so he's going to hit for Reddick. So, spring training changes coming fast and furious. A little jam shot, and that's going to fall into center field for a base hit for Lindendorf. So hit number 18 for the Athletics, and here's Priddy. Pretty good movement on his pitches.
You don't want him to go unscathed. I mean, he's got to give up something. He just can't have a. Mike Davis did a great job for the A's.
That one almost hit Priddy. Reddick, while he was in there, 2 for 4 with 4 RBIs, including a home run. A very productive night for Reddick, hitting out of the 3 spot. So Soto's going to chat with his pitcher, who's not a pitcher. What do you say if you're the catcher?
Throw strikes.
You're dropping your elbow, you're pushing it a little bit. Get on top.
Well, he probably, like he did in the first, he said, wait a minute, let me give you a sign. Don't just wind up like you know what you're going to throw. Probably saying don't balk.
High fastball at 86 miles an hour. But you can sort of see Robin Ventura's point here. 7 pitchers used last night.
Yeah.
And tonight your starter goes 3 innings, so you use Webb, Putnam, Jones, Albers. 2 of those 4 pitched last night. And at some point, even with the expanded roster, you don't want things to get away from you here with throwing all your pitchers out there. So full count to Priddy. Mark Canha waits in the on-deck circle. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Priddy chased what would have been ball 4.
Well, 2-seamer away from Priddy, and fortunately out of the strike zone.
So Canha will step in. And Larry Garcia gets a strikeout. Canha has yet to be retired. 3 singles, 2 walks, 2 runs scored, and an RBI. So good night for the batting average. Good night for the on-base percentage. So that strikeout by Larry Garcia, his first career strikeout. That one to the backstop, and Lindendorf will trot to second. Generally, when a position player comes into the game to pitch, it's usually the last inning.
That's right.
Well, here it's only the 8th inning. So that tells you what kind of night it's been for the White Sox.
I want to say, whenever somebody recently pitched, that I think back to, it was with Milwaukee, Jim Gantner, Sal Bando, and Buck Martinez, all 3 pitched. And the amazing thing, when Buck Martinez pitched, I caught. So we had 2 catchers, 1 pitching, 1 catching. But I think that was one of the rare times that not only the 8th and 9th, I mean, we had a bunch. We had 3 position players pitch in the same game.
Wow, that's not good. I'd like to see the final score of that game. We're going to do a little research.
Yeah, I have to remember when that. I mean, it was 1979, just a matter of in Kansas City. But,
all right, so we could definitely find that.
But Buck Buck Martinez doing the TV for the Blue Jays. We kind of talked about that, and Captain Sal and Jim Cantner, you know, the Brew Crew.
I'm surprised Captain Sal did that.
Oh yeah,
he was good with it.
Oh, this is the captain after all. You know,
whatever you want.
Captain, that's right.
He was captain in Milwaukee too, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
2 pitch blocked by Soto. 2 on, 2 out here in the 8th.
Soto did not expect to get all his work in blocking balls done with a position player pitching.
Well, he's hanging in there. Bounce to Ramirez. He'll go the short way out at second, and a decent inning for Larry Garcia, and we may see him in the top of the 9th as well. Bottom of the 8th coming up, a 17, the White Sox 6. Ten-run 4th inning for the A's. They have scored 17 runs tonight, 17, 18, and 0 for the Athletics, and for the White Sox 6, 11, and 2. Aaron Brooks had a pretty good chance at a win, and for that 17 runs, that's a season high for the Athletics. And Jeff Samardzija gives up a career high 10 earned runs in 3+ innings. So bottom of the 8th inning. Eddie Colomb stays out there. And he'll face Holt, Johnson, and Soto. So the great guys in the truck raid did the research, and they found out.
They always do.
That it was an 18-8 Royals victory over Ray Fosse's Milwaukee Brewers. Jason Pridey is in right field now, and Tyler Ladendorf is at shortstop. Not that we doubted that your information was correct. We just wanted a little more information on it. Captain Sal said, give me the ball. He went 3 innings.
Yeah.
Who was the manager?
George Bamberger?
George.
It was Harvey's Wallbangers a little bit later. George Bamberger, former pitching coach, great with the Baltimore Orioles. So Captain Sal for 3, Gantner and Buck Martinez for an inning.
Yeah.
So Jim Slayton, the starting pitcher.
Jim Slayton.
He didn't go very deep either.
Jim Slayton probably forgot all about that game, but
it's forever.
Captain Sal remembered it. You remembered it.
Reggie Cleveland.
Those are great names from the 70s.
Now we spent
Reggie Cleveland.
Reggie and I spent a lot of time in the bullpen at County Stadium.
Talking it over?
Oh, yeah. We spent a lot of time there.
Swing and a miss, and Old strikes out. So that's 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. With the big beer barrel right over top of your head. So 1 out for Micah Johnson. Astros and the Rangers are still knotted at 5. It's now the top of the 8th inning. Both starting pitchers are gone from that game. Angels leading the Mariners 3-1 in the 4th. With less than 3 weeks left in this 2015 regular season. A few things that are still up for grabs. That AL East is still open. Royals are going to win the Central. Great race in the West. Mets got it pretty well wrapped up in the National League East. Cardinals, Pirates, Cubs, that's been fun to watch. Dodgers pretty much got it wrapped up in the West. One-two pitch, good pitch by Colon, down and away, and he gets back-to-back strikeouts here in the 8th inning.
Outside part of the plate, a slider and a good pitch. And this is a real pitcher pitching. I guess we'll see Mr. Garcia go out for the 9th inning since nobody's loosening the bullpen. But if you're a position player, you don't have to loosen up, do you?
No.
You just come in off the bench and take your 8 warm-up tosses. And
could help the pace of game. Soto is hitless. A couple of home runs for the White Sox. Cabrera and Ramirez. To the White Sox catcher. Giovanni Soto was that may be your pants right there, Ray, from 1973.
Still have the tag on them.
Yeah.
That's
like
right.
He's wearing maybe a pair of like Orioles pants or something. Muncy has it, flips it across, side, retire. 3 up, 3 down inning for Danny Colon, and we are going to the 9th. Love those pants.
Tonight he has had 3-2 fastball, a 2-run home run for Josh Reddick, and what a night he had, because in the same inning, he would come up a little bit later and get a base hit up the middle, driving in 2. So for Josh Reddick, 2 hits, 4 runs batted in, a 2-run single, a 2-run home run in the same inning for Josh Reddick, our forward right choice, and very deserving for Josh Reddick. Sid Beck doesn't have to face a new pitcher, Alexi Ramirez. In fact, I think you said it best. Ramirez comes in from shortstop, and Garcia goes to shortstop.
Well, actually, we're close.
Oh, it's not?
Now, his first careerance on the bump, but I'm telling you, he's got a good arm.
Yeah. Well, boy, he's shaking off his catcher.
So we'll see what his velocity is. But
oh, nice to curve.
His first pitch, which was a fastball for a strike, was 90 miles an hour. That is Tyler Saladino.
Saladino. Oh, I guess can't put a pitcher in a short. Another 90.
Holtz takes care of it, and Muncie's retired. Well, you watch Ramirez throw from short. You shouldn't be surprised if he's throwing 90 miles an hour. He has got a good loose arm, and he's having a good time.
Well, how many pitchers do you see dirt on the uniforms?
That's true.
So he's got it all worked. Pitching out of the stretch. He's a reliever. But you're right. His arm, good sinker. And I like the fact that he was shaking off his catcher after the first pitch. Slider.
He's throwing a couple different pitches. Chris Sale's watching. He only has 250 strikeouts.
I wonder, we should have Adam Roden and ask him what kind of report he has put on for Garcia and Ramirez as far as pitchers.
You gotta have one. You never know.
That's it.
So 1-1 the count to Fegley. Coming right at him. 90 in on the hands of Fegley. They're having a little fun. What else can you do? It's 17-6.
He may drop a slider now.
And it was, but it backed up.
He did throw it hard like his fastball.
So he now has a he has now thrown a backup slider.
Well, Fegley might have been a splitter or something, because that kind of floated it. I thought he'd throw his hard slider.
Weird action on it.
There it is.
Not a bad pitch. 2-2. Fegley's single, double, and walked twice, so he's been on base 4 times. He's driven in a run and scored twice.
And believe me, no hitter likes to face a position player pitching. I mean, it just is not the same. Not surprised that Reddick came out. He's in it. They're going to do it. I've had a good night facing pitchers that I know something about. I don't want to face a position player.
That one had a little flutter to it as well.
And not too often you see a pitcher smiling when he's making his pitches. Or Frisbee.
3-2 pitch, spoiled by Fegley. Sogard waits in the on-deck circle. And to Fegley's credit, he probably doesn't want to walk either.
Well, he swung,
right?
He swung at 2 pitches out of the strike zone. He could have walked. I think he'd like to get a hit. He's asking for strikes. Of course, he may not have any idea, but these guys were teammates last September. And there he's facing him. He knows he has a good arm. He's watched it throw from shortstop.
And this one's hit high and foul into the seats. Good scramble here.
Well, Fegley's making him work. 10 pitches. Threw 3 to Muncie to get a ground ball. Look at the on-deck circle. Oh, geez. I don't want to throw that.
And a hanger there. Another foul ball.
It's about the last 3 out of 4 have been out of the strike zone. Stephen Vogt looking on, and Stephen Vogt happy to be sitting on the bench. Soto emphatically putting down the fastball sign.
Hit well to left center, but Eaton's going to get there. And he's got it. So Fegley, pretty good battle with Alexi Ramirez. So 2 outs here in the top of the 9th.
You know what he's realizing as he takes a deep breath? Pitching takes a little bit out of you.
Oh, yeah.
The reason the guys work hard, they run hard and try to get in shape because every pitch is strenuous.
Hustling back over the head of Melky Cabrera. And Sogard's going to have a double. So Sogard has a single, double, and a triple tonight.
Alexi Ramirez might be looking at Cabrera like Samardzija looked at him in the first inning when he didn't catch the ball that was hit down the line. And
not to spoil the fun, but Melky has not looked great in left field.
No, he got turned around.
Pretty shallow there.
Yeah, but I mean, he got turned around, and even the ball that was hit down the line by Smolinski, and also Fegley hit one down in the first inning. Both doubles back when it really meant something. Just less than a great effort going after him. So, you know, as a matter of fact, Samardzija looked at, he said, what? He didn't catch that, and he thought he was going to. So that is kind of the same.
He's really done a pretty good outfield.
Yeah.
0-1 pitch, foul back, 0-2. 87 miles an hour from Alexi Ramirez. Shakes once. And it was a hanger, and Smolinski just got a piece of it.
Well, all we have to do is remember Jose Canseco blowing out his elbow.
That's what you don't want to have.
And, you know, anytime a manager puts a position player in, he just hope and pray that nothing seriously happens because they try to do things out of the ordinary instead of just throwing fastballs. They want to throw breaking pitches in case of Canseco want to throw knuckleballs, and all of a sudden, elbow. Yeah, that was not very much fun. That kind of curtailed a lot of future position players pitching. But you watch position players on the side, they'll be throwing knuckleballs and saying, I can do this. I want to pitch. And that's why anytime these types of games occur, they're begging the manager, let me go, because I want to pitch. Well, 21 pitches. There's someone who takes a few warm-up throws at shortstop before each inning. And then he has to go out and make 21 pitches with effort completely.
And probably 8 to 10 breaking balls.
At least, yeah. And all those fouled off by Fegley. And now 3 by Smolinski. So he's thrown 5 strikes to Smolinski, including 3 foul balls.
Just outside, 89 miles an hour. And that one hit Smolinski. It was a breaking ball. And Ramirez was ahead in the count.
Smolinski kind of stuck the knee out a little bit, like he wasn't necessarily trying to get out of the way of it. It was a breaking ball, and the effort was there to get out of the way. I don't think he got out of the way. I think he just kind of ducked into it, and that's why Soto was saying something to the home plate umpire.
Bounced foul by Sam Full. who hits for the 6th time. 2 for 5.
Still 2 more games in this series against the White Sox. Tomorrow night and Thursday afternoon.
Good pitch right on the outside corner.
Well, we know the owner and the chairman, Jerry Reinsdorf, has been in attendance tonight.
Yes,
and so he's been watching his pitchers pitch and his position players pitch.
He's right above us, I believe.
I think he is. He's got a nice, I mean, he can sit anywhere he wants to, but I think he sits above us. Several Bulls championships, has this 2005 White Sox championship.
Way outside. So 2-2 the count. Interesting, 3rd time this season, 2 position players have pitched in the same game. Indians did it, the Rays did it. Nice play, fire across the diamond, dug out by Olt. So a nice play by Saladino on one end and a nice play by Olt on the other, and Ramirez has a scoreless top of the 9th inning, much to the delight of the White Sox fans who have hung around. Bottom of the 9th coming up.
With 2016 priority seating, and choose your exact seating location for next season. A's offer a variety of full and partial season plans that qualify for great benefits, including half-price parking, flexible ticket exchange program, and much, much more. For more information, call 510-638-GO-A's or visit athletics.com/2016. Yeah, they're ready.
They're ready. Now, my concern there, Ray, with the 89 World Champs t-shirt, now it's a great t-shirt, but generally those type of shirts are given out like that year or maybe the year after, which has been a little while ago. No, I'm just joking, because they gave those out at the 25-year reunion. Here's R.J. Alvarez, 3rd pitcher of the night. Alvarez will face the top of the White Sox order. So the White Sox using 2 position players tonight. Lori Garcia pitched the 8th. Alexi Ramirez pitched the 9th. So a little fun to the evening. Yeah. An evening that's been owned by the A's offense. Line drive, base hit center field. 12 hits for the White Sox, and Eaton's going to try for 2, and he is out. And I'm really going to try to think if there's been a worse play that we've seen this year. 17-6, and Eaton tried to stretch a single into a double, and he was out by a lot, so much that he didn't even slide.
Well, the ball a little bit right center, and he thought maybe Sam Folds a little casual going after it, but Sam let the ball come in, and there with Leydendorf, he didn't make it a second. And that's when you want to go hide.
So here's Ramirez, shortstop / pitcher. So 1 away here in the 9th. And there's a strike at 95 miles an hour. Ramirez tonight has walked, lined out twice, and homered. He's scored a couple of times. We'll have A's post-game live coming up. We're going to let the guys in the studio handle the post-game show tonight, all right, right?
Completely.
Yeah,
completely. No excuses about technical and all that. I mean, they just wanted to leave last night. I mean, it was, what, 1:30? We're doing the post-game here from Chicago, local time. So 11:30 back there.
You're a gamer, right?
Of course. Hey, no, we loved every minute of it.
It's fun.
Just a little surprise. The boys back home decided to leave early.
I always thought they were gamers.
I did
but
too.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe Brody was upset.
Maybe not so much.
Hey, listen.
We'll see if they bounce back tonight. We'll keep a close eye on the guys in the studio tonight.
By the way, the A's will not take batting practice for the rest of the season.
They didn't take it tonight. Doesn't seem to matter.
Well, while on the field, when the White Sox were taking batting practice, had a chance to see a gentleman who your brother, very familiar, Dale Torborg.
Yeah.
Dale Torborg was, when Jeff, his dad, was managing us in Cleveland, was about 6.
At the most.
Yeah. And said his dad and mom down in Florida. Jeff, of course, the 50th anniversary of catching Sandy Koufax's perfect game.
That's good. Called
by Vin Scully, of course. And Dale was a professional wrestler known as the Demon. And he was, of course, the Kiss look of with the painted face.
So he did the whole painted face.
Oh yeah, he was big time. He's 6'7".
Yeah.
And I said, how long is it? He says, you get 43. All of a sudden, you don't work out as much, and the body's just not there. But professional wrestler, and he said he was just talking to Adam LaRoche, who's with the White Sox. Dale is a strength and conditioning coach. He said, I used to throw batting practice to you guys. And he did it as a kid.
Sure.
Whenever Dave LaRoche, the father, was pitching, LaRoches were there, and the Torborgs.
The Torborgs had 3 boys, did they not?
Yeah. And
Dale was the youngest.
Yeah, Dwayne and I were there, and Jeff was the manager. But looking at Dale now, he's big.
He is big. And I think when he was a professional wrestler, he was even bigger.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's 6'7". He said he's at 275 as the wrestler. And a little bit lighter now. He said the muscles just aren't the same as you get older. And fastball from Alvarez for the strike 3. But it was good to see him and catch up on where his dad is. And but he said he talked to his dad. He said, "Can you believe 50 years since Koufax's perfect game?" And Jeff, of course, one of the great ones for the Dodgers, catching. And
one of the nicest guys.
Absolutely. Doing some TV work and different things, but
1-0 to Melky Cabrera as R.J. Alvarez trying to wrap it up.
I remember when Dale was a professional wrestler, I'd see Jeff and he says, "How's your son?" He says, "Oh, you should see him. He's big." I said, "I guess so."
He better be big.
Yeah. But he was playing some baseball in college and unfortunately got hit in the face with a line drive and kind of curtailed his baseball career, became a professional wrestler, throwing bodies around. And now he's working for the White Sox. Buddy Bell, another former teammate of ours, was assistant to the GM, Rick Hahn. So Jim told me yesterday he's some of the good guys of the past. Wearing the good guys' hats, as the Hawk would say.
So Cabrera walks. A couple of walks in the inning for R.J. Alvarez.
You're up this much, you want a clean ninth. And this is what Bob Melvin was hoping for, is to get the clean ninth. And thankfully, he tried to stretch a single into a double, and he was thrown out. Otherwise, this inning could have been a little bit uglier.
So Saladino hits for the first time. And there's a fastball for a strike. Saladino made a very nice play to end the top of the ninth inning. Slider, hard slider, away, 1-1. Astros and the Rangers now in the top of the ninth, still tied at 5. Good fastball there, 93, and had a little giddy up to it. So Alvarez trying to wrap it up, even up this series at a game apiece. 2 pitches down and away, 2-2. And Alvarez going for a walk. Pitch swing and a miss. He struck him out with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and the White Sox do not score in the bottom of the ninth. And the A's offense, led by that man, Josh Reddick, come up big tonight. It was a 10-run 4th inning, and when it was all said and done, the Athletics beat the White Sox 17-6. Time of game, 3 hours and 31 minutes. The attendance tonight here in Chicago, 12,446. 17-6, A's win it. You've been watching A's baseball on CSN California, part of the NBC Sports Group. Don't go away. A's postgame live with Brody and Shooty starts right now.